Bambies, Kaleidow here and welcome back to another Sims 4 building video where we're going to be creating another community lot for my Let's Play called My Little Pony. So you guys have already had a look at this in my recent episode. And this was actually a pretty difficult build, I'm going to be honest. I had quite a challenge tackling this one, and the reason why is it is actually based off a carnival slash circus tent is sort of how I see it. It's a very beautiful fashionista version of a circus tent, but it is absolutely gorgeous. And this is of course inspired by My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, the little carousel, well it's not little, the carousel boutique which Rarity both lives in and also has her little business from. And I had a lot of fun with this, but again, it was quite a challenge. There were so many different details to it. When you very first look at the shop in the TV show, you don't realize how detailed it actually is. There are so many different layers to this tent, and recreating a tent like this in The Sims 4 was heaps of fun, but again, I had to do a lot of experimenting and some things aren't exactly the same. There are some things on the tent, like I wanted it to look a bit more ornate. At the front there, you can see I've used a few of those things, but I get rid of them pretty quickly because they look dreadful. But yeah, a lot of experimenting. Some things don't look totally correct, but I tried to get there, and I feel like at the end of the build, you guys are going to really feel like this does portray Rarity's home quite well. And speaking of home, this is actually not going to be a house that Rarity is living in. This is going to be her retail store. So in The Sims 4, the only way that you can sell things, well, you can have a little yard sale, but you can't actually have a store in your residence, like in your household residential lot. So it has to be a separate one, and I decided since this sort of build doesn't actually match the neighborhood that the rest of the ponies live in, we'll put it on the same, it's like a little business strip we have going on. I have a couple more builds to go. We're going to be making a grocery store for Applejack and her family, and we're also going to eventually be making a veterinary when Cats and Dogs comes out, where Fluttershy is going to be a veterinary. Yes, it's going to be so cool. And what else are we going to have? Oh yeah, and Pinkie Pie is going to have a very own bakery slash cafe restaurant sort of thing. It's going to be really awesome. But yeah, so speaking about this build again, it's going to be a retail store, mainly to do with selling outfits and little cosmetics and things to do with the beauty, because, you know, that's what Rarity is all about. And everything had to be very beautiful, purple, pink tones and ornate as heck, because that is Rarity. And you know what? Doing this roof was so difficult. More than half of my footage was actually doing this roof, and I had to cut it down quite a lot because it was just, oh my god, I was like, guys, you did not want to watch that. It was just so strenuous. Oh my gosh, can I even talk? And there were so many different details, like even these little black parts here, which I decided to add, took me a while to get correct. And there's even a flag on top. There's the little ponies that look like an actual carousel in the middle roof. There's so many different layers. Oh my gosh. I think I'm actually missing one layer from the TV show, but oh my gosh, it was worth it, you know. I am really happy with how the whole facade and look of the exterior looks, and especially this front little part. I'm so glad that we have this little pony toy, the kids toy, because it really came in handy. I've actually been using this toy so much more recently in builds. I think it's super kawaii and so adorable and stuff, and it really gives a sense that this is a My Little Pony build. and it sort of looks, I don't know what is up with those things. I've never used them ever. You know those big yellow things? They're like window shades. I don't even know what they are, but they are gigantic. But honestly, they actually, like the tent actually has them in the show. So I was like, whoa, score. We got it exactly. And it's looking pretty good and pretty spot on. So we are finally working on the interior. Yes, I decided I want to make the whole middle part and all of the different levels hollow, and we're just going to have a bottom floor. So in the actual TV show, there are more than one level. There's like another little back sewing room, I believe, that Rarity has. She also would probably have like her sleeping quarters and maybe her private vanity room, and we don't include all of that because since I know at this point that it's going to be just a separate retail store, I was like, okay, we just need to think about stuff that we're selling, mirrors everywhere, because Rarity has this really cool little spot that has like a flower just like this. I actually have to get rid of this because it looks terrible in The Sims 4 compared to in the show. But there's like this cute little mirror place where Rarity or whoever is trying on the clothes can stand in the middle and just like look at themselves and stuff when they're putting on clothing, which I was really happy I could fit in. We also put in another vanity spot. Some other things I was thinking about was a actual desk. So we needed a table where we could have the cash register. And I also wanted to include some sort of drinks, like a little tray or something. So we include that too. There are so many mirrors in this build. I absolutely love it. And something that I actually kind of had fun with. I've never actually gone this crazy with curtains before, but I realized quite quickly that there was no neat way of doing this. And in the actual TV show, if you guys have watched it, you would know that inside the tent, it's this lavish, like, oh my gosh, all of these robes and curtains just like everywhere. You can't even see the walls of the tent really. It's just curtains just everywhere. It's so beautiful and just stunning. It's so nice. And I really kind of struggled at first because I was trying to make it look really neat and tidy. But then I realized I gotta just go crazy with this. I need to let loose and just get really creative with these things because it's gonna look bad anyway. It's gonna look a little bit dodgy either way I go. So because we have to size them up, and you know, there's always little bits and pieces that don't really fit properly when you do that, but oh well. And I got a bit creative with it, you know, and we also used some walls to kind of section off different parts of the build because it's just such a big open space. So we have a little part there next to the front door where we have some clothing on racks. We have that little section with the circle of vanity right there. And then we also have the part where you can actually sit down and do your makeup. Maybe Rarity will give you a makeover. No idea. So I also wanted to hide this schmozzle that is happening at the back of this part. And oh my God, I was like, okay, we're going to hide that real quicksies because that looks so bad. Oh man. And also put another standing mirror against the other end window there because there's this really nice image in the show where they have a lone mirror, and I was like, come on, we gotta put another, like we're gonna be able to fit in one more mirror, so we just do it, and I think it looks so nice. And I also, if you guys have noticed, the way that I've done the walls, I made sure that they don't have any base or anything. It's just all one color, and I've kind of done it in a stripy way. So in the actual TV show, it's not a stripy tent. It is a purple tent, but I couldn't make it look like a tent in The Sims 4 if it was all one color. It just looked really bland and really bad, okay? So it looks kind of stripy, but we're digging it, okay? We're just going with the flow. It looks alright. I kind of like the difference. And right now I'm just going through the catalog and we're just seeing what little cosmetics and stuff would Rarity sell. Like, so I just have them all laying out there on the ground, and that's something that I do quite a lot in my builds. So I wanted everything to look a little bit more ornate, so I add in more of these things, and instead I felt like it was a big mess near those clothing racks, so I instead added one of those awnings, and I think it works well. Like, people can still access that mannequin underneath, and that is all that matters, TBH. So are we going to get up to the counter yet? Probably not, but I'm leaving this giant space there because I kind of know that I need to put in that cash register somewhere. And there are just so many little cosmetics, perfumes, and other things. I think I even put in some cameras and stuff like that for them to sell on these little shelves. And I didn't think about it at first, but everyone, when all of the customers come into the store, they just go and converge around these shelves. And it's so annoying that I think I'm actually going to move some things to other parts of the building where hopefully they're not all standing in one little group. It's kind of annoying. It looks a bit stupid, but honestly, that's probably the least of our worries when it comes to this build, and we're going to get to our problemo a little bit later on. Right now, I don't want to think about it, really. It's not that huge of a problem, though. So I wanted there to be some nice little cushions thrown around the place. So Rarity does have some little chairs and ottomans thrown around her place. They're a little bit more ornate and regal than this. So I try to put in some regal things, but like this, I don't know what that is, like a bench. I guess it's like a long ottoman, and then we have that little stool behind the cash register there. But yeah, she has a whole bunch of little cushions and stuff too, so I was really happy, and I think it kind of fills up the space a bit more too. I was thinking of having a buffet table. Guys, I was so close. You don't realize how close I was to getting a buffet table, but I was like, I don't know if that's elegant enough. I don't think Rarity would like people stuffing their face with, what is it? It's like chicken. Like the stuff you can buy for the buffet table is like chicken and the most like finger food type of stuff. And she would not want everyone eating, then touching her fabrics and beautiful clothing with their grubby hands afterwards. Hell no, Rarity would not want a buffet in her store. So we did a little bit of a cut there, but you saw that I was trying desperately to fit in a little photography studio. It did not really work out, so I was thinking maybe, I can't remember the name of the photographer, Pony, but she's like a really big celebrity sort of type, and Rarity like gushes over this character so much. It's one of the first episodes, one of the earlier ones, and probably in season 1. I think that it would probably be best to add in her, and then maybe she could have a photography studio separately, because Rarity's boutique is meant to be a boutique. It's not meant to be all about cameras and stuff, but we did include some because I think they kind of go in hand with the whole thing about vanity, taking photos of yourself, you know what I mean. And I wanted to add in some greenery here and there because everything was looking a little bit empty on the outside, and I was pretty much happy with the inside. We added a big rug and all of this jazz, which just made everything come together a lot more. And I can't wait to show you guys the screenshots because everything looks so much better with the mannequins wearing different outfits. It looks kind of silly when they're wearing nothing because they just look so bland and naked. So yeah, in the screenshots, I'll show you all of the outfits that we ended up having, and it's super, super cute. I really love it. I don't know why I used rugs to do the floor in this mini tent. By the way, right now we're just about to create a mini tent city. So in the actual show, there are a whole bunch of tiny little tents or smaller versions of Rarity's tents in her part of town, and it's so sweet. It looks like a little, I guess like a gypsy camp or something like that. It's so cute. I absolutely love it, like a little carnival tent city. And I feel like if I didn't make these extra tents, the boutique would have looked so strange by itself. And you know, when you go out into world view, guys, this build looks stunning where it is. It looks so good with all of these cute little tents behind it. I tried to make a whole bunch of different ones. So there's only 3, but I tried to make them all quite different. So we got a pink one here, and this one has to do with the problemo, what am I saying? The problemo that we were talking about earlier. So this bigger tent is gonna come in handy real quick. And then we also have a little orange one, I do believe. I have no idea what ponies actually live in these in the TV show, but these are super cute, and I really like the color scheme of them all. They're very pastel and just subtle colors. I got kind of creative with the roof styles with these because we are quite limited, and they are very ornate, and they have these, you know, the sides, the edges of the tent roofs have these little flaps, and there was no way in hell I was going to be able to portray them well without doing something strange. So that's why the roofs of these tiny tents are kind of different, but I feel like they still look good in a way. Let me know what you guys think. I'm really happy with how they turned out. And we're about to get up to this other part. Oh, yeah. I end up using some other little wallpapers from the fancy stuff pack. I don't know the name of stuff packs, honestly. But then I go around, I'm like, oh, dude, I could do some decorative stuff using wallpapers and things that are a little bit more patterned. But some things just didn't match, you know. So I end up kind of mix and matching everything. And this pink tent is gonna be a lifesaver. It took me so long to figure out some of the stuff in this build, guys. Like some of the curtains and things, I think I cut them out, or I stop recording sometimes because I get so stuck with the curtains sometimes. I just had to. It was just painful how much I was struggling. I think this is one of those moments where I'm like, that one would not fit. Guys, aren't you grateful that I think about you guys watching this as I record? Because I don't want you to get bored or frustrated when I'm frustrated. There are so many times when I'm building and legit the game is not doing what my brain thinks it's gonna do, and things just don't look great, and I have to cut stuff out because I experiment and play around with different textures and different styles over and over and over. So many things had to be cut out to make this a neat little 20-minute video sorta. And here we are placing in, you guessed it, a bathroom, because I forgot to put a bathroom in our Carousel boutique. So we have to have one all the way out the back, so it's literally an outhouse. Fantastic. That is so glamorous, right? Rarity would so not approve of this in the actual show. Or would she? Maybe she would like the, you know, the messy doings to be separated from her life's work. You know what I mean? Alrighty, guys. Well, here are all of these screenshots. I hope you guys like this build. It will be on the gallery as soon as possible. My origin is just down below. Yeah, I'm so happy to bring this one to you guys because it was so fun and creative, and I hope you guys liked it. Well, guys, that is going to be it for today. I hope you all have a fantastic one. I love you all to bits, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.